Hey everybody, it's Melissa Boher Jacobson from Confident Life Coaching and Hypnotherapy, going live as part of my countdown, counting down 25 tips to help you manage stress and have phenomenal coping skills. So in today's first live, and hopefully it is streaming, I'm gonna assume that it is. I'm streaming live today for the first time, streaming live from Facebook and from YouTube. So we'll see if this is working. And if you are watching live, give me a comment, give me a like, let me know that you can see and hear me. Looks like I can see my post here. Maybe. This is all a grand experiment. So again, Melissa Boher Jacobson, Confident Life Coaching and Hypnotherapy. I am streaming live for the first time and hoping, looks like Chris is here watching me. Hey Chris, how are you? Thanks for watching live today.
Hey everybody, it's Melissa Boher Jacobson from Confident Life.
Like to hear
Chris
that.
is here watching me. Hey Chris.
Okay. As I said, this is all new, so bear with me as I make mistakes and learn, break and fix, as my good friend Chris, who's watching this live, always says. Today's topic is number 1 in a series that I'm doing, and it's 25 tips to help you manage stress and have phenomenal coping skills. And every day I'm going to be posting a live video on this topic, so make sure that you subscribe and hit the bell so that you can be notified every time I drop a new video in this series or any of the other videos in my series that are all to do with giving you and your family, people that you love, and people that you work with phenomenal coping skills. So in today's live, we're talking about where does stress come from? And you might be surprised to find out where it actually comes from. Most people think that stress emanates from their circumstances. I have very stressful things going on in my life, therefore I am stressed. But the truth is, it's not the circumstances that the stress comes from, because the circumstances are just the circumstances. It is our response to given circumstances that determines what our emotional response will be. And stress is an emotional response. Stress comes from, let's see if anybody who is listening or wants to comment in the chat, where do you think stress comes from? It comes from our thoughts. And who is in control of our thoughts? The stress? The circumstances? No. We are in control of our thoughts. We are therefore in control of our response to stress. Now you might be listening and going, well, that's ridiculous. I can't help it. It's stressful. I'm going to feel stressed. And I can understand that point of view. But the truth is that the way that we respond to stressful circumstances is in the eyes or the minds, if you will, of the beholder. Now you can probably hear a lot of noise right now. That is because I am streaming to you live from Boquete, Panama. And right now in Boquete, it is raining very hard. It's starting to dissipate now. So hopefully you can still hear me over the sound of the rain. So, a given circumstance, different people respond differently to different circumstances. For most people, they respond to a stressful situation by referring to something that happened in their past, or they worry about what will happen because of this circumstance, what will happen in the future. And one of the things that I do in my work as a Confident Life Coach, in my work running Confident Life Coaching and Hypnotherapy, is I teach people how to have phenomenal coping skills. And that means that I teach them that circumstances are part of life. We all know this. There's always going to be challenging circumstances. It's the way that we choose to respond to those circumstances that are A, going to determine our stress levels, because most of our stress comes from our thoughts about the circumstance, not the actual circumstance themselves. And our default way of responding to circumstances is not always the best response to give us the best coping skills. So it's very, very important to learn how to think to respond to circumstances, so that when you have a challenging circumstance, you can have the best possible coping skills, the clearest mind, the best concentration, so that you can optimally cope and overcome those circumstances as quickly as you possibly can. And that means learning how to control your thoughts and your responses to circumstances. For example, let's say you have you find out that your landlord is selling your home. This is actually rather close to my heart, because this is something that is going on in my life right now. Do you respond with panic? Do you feel overwhelmed? Or do you respond with, I can trust myself, I know what I'm doing, I'll figure it out step by step and everything will be fine? When you have that latter response, it enables you to think clearly, it enables you to create a plan of action, and it enables you to spend your energy handling the problem instead of being in paralysis. So you can see how powerful and important it is to learn how to think to respond to given circumstances. When we go to our default, we kind of go with the default, which is freeze, like a fight, flight, or freeze response. You can see that feels very stressful, first of all, and it is, because when we have negative fear-based or negative thoughts, we physically trigger a stress response in our body, and that stress response is going to trigger a biological, physiological response that is going to cause us to freeze. It's going to or flee or fight, and that response is going to lead to more stress hormones being released. And all of this emanates from our thoughts. So you can begin to see that our stress comes from how we respond to circumstances, not the circumstances themselves. And it's very, very, very powerful to understand that distinction, because if you go through your life thinking that the circumstances are going to determine whether you feel calm or stressed, you're going to have a very, very turbulent life emotionally. You're going to have a lot more stress in your life. And stress is very, very destructive to our physical, mental, and emotional state. And it is within our control, because it begins with how we think. So when we can train ourselves to respond differently, to choose our response carefully, wisely, and calmly to given circumstances, we can have a huge impact on the amount of stress that is impacting us physically, emotionally, and mentally. So, again, this is my first time going live. Hopefully I have some comments in the chat, which I guess I could see, but I also would be able to hear what I'm saying, and that might not work. So I will definitely be looking at your comments, and I will be responding to each and every one of those after this live is over. In the meantime, I want to remind you that I will be going live every day, and that there's a lot of really valuable content on this channel. And it's very beneficial for you to make sure that you subscribe and hit the bell so that you can have access, because all this content is designed to help you manage stress and have phenomenal coping skills. And we certainly know that there's plenty of opportunities for us to be stressed out. in our current state of affairs. So I really urge you to make sure that you subscribe to the channel. I'll look forward to seeing you tomorrow on my next live. In the meantime, this is Melissa Boher Jacobson, Confident Life Coaching and Hypnotherapy. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell, and I'll see you in tomorrow's live. Thanks for listening.